Hey guys, thanks for coming back. I really appreciate it. Today we got to put the wiring harness in this console here. We're going to put that pivot riser on, the bars, the riser itself, the extended brake cable, mountain bar. Everything's going to look pretty darn cool at the end of this episode. I just want to tell you that when I did remove these switches, I left everything intact. I didn't unplug this stuff. You got to keep track of where everything goes. If you don't do that, if you kind of screwed up, don't worry about it. Go check out your service manual. They'll tell you where all these little wires have to go to. Make sure you put your big nut over the tank. And we're putting all our console back in. I want to put these little side panels in. I was going to ditch them at first, but you know what? They hold the pull cord assembly and my choke. So what I'm going to do is, to get rid of some heat, I'm going to open up these vents here. Might open up a couple other holes. Got to get that heat out. The less heat underneath the hood, the better. All done. I peppered these things up. You know, if I think that there's going to be some extra snow get in through here, I'll just cut that right out. I'll get some JC custom vents, tell him what size to make me. He'll make that up for me. But for now, it's going to work. All right, we got the boring stuff out of the way, this console cover and the side covers, whatever. But now we get to do the fun stuff. We get to install this PowerMadd pivot riser, the riser, extended brake cable, and this mountain grab bar, and a throttle cable extension, what we need when we have to go up. This is a pretty easy install. Don't be intimidated by it. If I can do it, you can certainly do it at home. First thing we're going to do, we're going to get this pivot riser on. It all starts from here. Everything you need is in this kit. You've got your installation and mounting bolts, and they even come with instructions. As the instructions say, you use your bolts with lock washer. The whole reason you need a pivot riser is this. If I just came off the stock column like that with a riser, it would be angled back too far. I don't want that. I want to come forward on my sled. I want a more rider forward position. So we use the pivot riser, install the riser to it, and that way I can install it where I want. Now I'll probably put it right about there. We'll see when I get the bars on. After the first few rides, I would check these bolts just to make sure they're still nice and snug. Now we use the long bolts with the spacers. I'm just going to snug these up enough that they'll stay in one position but not be flopping all over the place. Okay, I've installed my pivot riser, my 6-inch riser, and my bars. Everything's still kind of loose on here, so I can figure out exactly where I want it. To do that, you just get on the sled. You want to be comfortable sitting and standing. Now I know that when I stand, I kind of like to be leaned forward a little bit. I don't want to be like this when I'm riding my sled that's not comfy. But this seems to be just about right. That's going to be nice. So I'm just going to install the rest of the hardware on here. I'll tighten these up for now. I can always adjust them later on when I'm on the trail. But right now, these things are rocking. Remember a long time ago when this would have been considered pretty ridiculous, putting risers on and different rider style. You know, the old Elans kind of sat so low on them, all those old sleds. Now it's all about comfort and performance. So that's all bolted up, nice and tight now. I can always adjust it if I have to. Now we have to install the brake and this cool extended brake cable I got from PowerMadd as well. Stainless steel with a nice rubber coating on it to protect it from the elements. I've got my brake master installed, so now I'm just going to run this extended brake line all the way down to my caliper. Remember to place these little seals, these copper seals over top the banjo bolt before you install it, or you're going to have leaks. Route your extended cable down through your console cover, take up the slack, and we install it onto here. Now, there you go. 14mm wrench. You don't have to over tighten this. Snug is good. Now, since we had that hose disconnected, we've got air in there. You got to get the air out of the system. It's called bleeding. It's not very hard to do. What we're going to do is try to level out our master cylinder here by turning the bars. And we're just going to top up the master cylinder first before we do anything. So we've had that brake line off. We got to get that air out of that system now. Any air in the system, well, it's not a good thing because air compresses, and we don't want to be able to compress anything in this system. You want to have fluid in there because you can't compress it. That means that when you press the brake lever, the pads are going to come in contact with the rotor and it's going to give you the braking action that you want. I see a little bit of air coming out of this master cylinder, so that means it's slowly trickling through this line into the brake caliper. But one thing we can do to expedite this is go down to the brake caliper and just loosen the little bleed nipple on that, and it'll cause the fluid to rush down into there and we'll get the air out. This caliper has two bleeder valves on it, bleeder nipples if you might want to call them that. Let's get the air out of there. I've done a lot of brake work on vehicles and on sleds, and sometimes it works out real slick, other times not so much. So sometimes you got to get the air out. And the hardest thing with this is if there's air in this system, you're trying to force it down to the main caliper there to get it out. What air doesn't want to go down, it wants to come up. So sometimes we just loosen up the main bolt, banjo bolt here on the line. Try to work the fluid through. There's still air coming out there, that's good. We know we're getting air out. Sometimes I'll just pump it up a few times, slowly release this. Go. Then I'll let it out. Pump it up a few times. There you go. I've got it pumped up. I'm starting to feel resistance, which is awesome. There, it just went down. Pump it up again, more resistance. That's good. Again. So after that, I still have a little bit of air coming out of here, but it's kind of almost self-bleeding. The air comes up, it's blowing out this little valve, and that's what we want. I just want good tension on this handle when I pull it, and that's what I got, so I'm happy. Can't you tell I'm happy? The good thing is we've got nice fresh fluid in there too. Nice tension on there. Love that brake line. Now we just have to hook up our wiring, and we're good to go. There's nothing worse than being in the powder boondocking on the side of a hill and you got nothing to grab onto. So I got this from PowerMadd. This is their grab strap. Pretty easy to install. It is tight. I put my Allen key in. Just give her a few turns. That grab bar rocks. So let's just say you put a riser on your sled. If you don't use an extended throttle cable, a couple different things can happen. Either you're not going to reach your existing throttle block with your cable, or it will reach, but every time you turn a corner, it's going to pull on the cable and it's going to, give you more gas, more throttle, it's going to want to accelerate. You don't want that. You can't have tension on your throttle cable to the carburetor. You don't want that, so you want to use one of these throttle extension kits. Very easy to install. I've already done a video on it. I'm going to put this one on here. The kit comes with everything you need, including instruction manual. So make sure that all these parts are in your kit. You got to take this low temp grease, squeeze it into each side of this little housing here. And trust me, you want this in here. If you don't put this in, you're going to get water or something's going to happen, and you don't want your throttle sticking open. Cable, there's a little circlip that would clip into here on your throttle block. Take that off. Slip this one into place. The kit comes with these little tiny ones. Just take your block, put it in there, slide it back and forth a few times. Now to put this together, all we do is we insert a little block in here with a silicone. Use the supplied circlip that goes right here. Now when you install this, the circlip actually needs to be over top of that. It doesn't go in this little groove. It goes over top, and then you do the same with the other side. Put the ball in there, leave the circlip over there. Now the other side of this housing has a groove in it and a little slot, so you just make sure that you align those up. Goes this way. Hold them together. Slide the rubber boot down. This will keep the water out. Now, if you need to make adjustments, you can do that right here. Just route your cable in, secure it into place with the clip. Just feed your cables through the console cover. Ready to install that motor. So that does it. A PowerMadd pivot riser, grab bar, extended throttle cable, extended brake line. Very easy installation. The instructions point everything out, everything you need to know. Make sure you go check them out online at PowerMadd.com. And when you buy something, make sure you tell them that Louie at PowerModz sent you. So thanks for watching. If you like my videos, make sure you subscribe, hit that thumbs up button, tell all your friends about us. Come back for more. Got some cool stuff coming up. Thanks for watching.